Okay. All right. This is part two of the Rise of the Phoenix and the Black Horse. And there might even be a third part to this. But what we're going to do is we're going to now, before I say anything, we have to keep in mind that yes, man is evil in in flesh. They have a sinful nature. Okay, but the real enemy here we must always remember is Lucifer, Satan, the enemy, the adversary, okay? So I'm not pointing fingers at anything or anyone, okay? But these are still players that have been influenced by what they call Lucifer and what we call Satan. Lucifer was the name given to Satan when he was an exalted angel, when he was a chief of angels, when he walked the fiery mountains of God. So, and obviously, the Luciferians out there, they still claim that. And there's Luciferian influence in today's Christian church as well. I mean, and when I talk about specific doctrines, when I talk about how doctrine is false, again, I am not pointing fingers at anybody. When I talk about the pre-trib rapture and how it's wrong, I'm not pointing fingers at anybody. I'm not. Okay? It's a stronghold that we have to overcome. But I'm not going to get into the rapture or anything like that. But I'm going to talk about Satan on our dollar, and this is all going to tie in with the whole Phoenix thing. And then later on, we're going to get into Judaism and how that has infiltrated and the fallacies of that as well. Okay, again, I'm talking about the doctrine. I'm not talking about individuals here. Okay. First, I want to point you to some scripture. And Ephesians 5:11 have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them. That word reprove is elenko, which is to confute, admonish, convict, convince, tell a fault, rebuke, or reprove. Okay, so that's basically what I'm doing here. Okay, is I'm exposing the lie. That's another word for, reprove, expose. And in Ephesians 6:12, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. So again, our enemy is not the Muslims. Our enemy is not the Zionists. It is what I just said in Ephesians 6:12. Period. Okay. I mean, the Zionist regime is under the influence of the principalities of the powers of the air. It's under the influence of Satan. You got to remember the things in this world is a counterfeit. That Jerusalem we see over there, it is a counterfeit. Okay, and we are going to be going into that probably in another part. I might have to do a part 3 because this is going to take some time. Now, the reason why I say it's a counterfeit is because thy kingdom come, folks. It's thy kingdom come is a new Jerusalem that comes down from heaven. This Jerusalem is going to be destroyed. There will not be left here one stone upon another, alright? Now, we've seen a partial fulfillment in 70 AD with the destruction of Jerusalem. Now, obviously, not every single stone fell because you still got a wall over there of the old Temple Mount. Alright? It was a partial fulfillment. That Jerusalem over there, that current state of Israel is going to be leveled. It's going to be destroyed. And you are going to see New Jerusalem coming down out of heaven. And there's another part of Scripture where it talks about how the Jerusalem below is actually a burden. It says that. So we have to keep that in mind. But I know I mentioned about the phoenix, and we're going to start getting into that. And side note here, when you look at the back of the dollar bill, you see the bald eagle, right? Now, we're going to get into this in more detail, try to. But originally, that is not what that was supposed to be. Originally, it was a phoenix coming up out of the flames with a ribbon in its mouth. Now, obviously, you see it's a bald eagle. But in all actuality, it's actually a phoenix. So, well, anyway, so we're going to start here with Satan on our dollar, the Masonic seal of America. Okay, so we're going to check this out. There you see here, the Annuit Corpus Novus Ordo Seclorum. Like I said, many of you probably know this already, but all I'm doing is just refreshing you guys here. And if some people don't know that, then, well, this is a eye-opener for them. Okay. Now, historian author Ralph Epperson has spent many years researching the history of the Great Seal, and has discovered that those who designed the two circles committed America to what has been called a secret destiny. Our Father, Yeshua, did nothing in secret. Okay, so there's a clue there. This future destiny is so unpleasant that those who wanted the changes it entails had to conceal that truth in symbols. This is the Great Seal of the United States of America. It was designed by the Freemasons and contains a mass of symbolism that the profane non-Masons are not to understand. This article will once and for all prove that the seal is a Masonic design. If you ever had any doubts, this video is going to explain a lot of it, and some details you probably haven't noticed before. Okay. Have you ever asked the question, why is there a pyramid on our $1 note? The religion of Freemasonry and some of its mysteries have descended from ancient Babylon, whose mysteries descended from ancient Egypt. The Great Pyramid has, of old, been a fascination of Freemasons. It is a pagan temple of Satan worship. Aleister Crowley, Freemason and chief Satanist of the 20th century, performed a satanic ritual in the King's Chamber. The Masonic founded and controlled cults of the Jehovah's Witnesses and Mormons have also adored the Great Pyramid. The Illuminati love to hide things in plain sight. As the saying goes, you can't see the forest for the trees. Symbolism and occult imagery are subconsciously perceived, but on a conscious level will not be seen. However, occasionally the symbolism is clear and right in our faces, but the meanings behind the symbolism or references are unknown to the majority and therefore are automatically filtered out by the brain as insignificant and meaningless. You must remember that in order for secret groups to show their affiliation, they use symbols as a means to communicate, although there are many more reasons as to why they hide things in plain sight. Now, after I get done explaining all these things, you're going to have a total different view of what it actually means by "In God We Trust." And another reason is to mock Yahweh. The criminal global elite are not atheists. They fully believe in Yahweh and they hate him with a passion. They have willfully chosen to follow Satan and are Luciferian worshippers. Satan's purpose is to corrupt and deceive every human being, so they'll end up in hell with him when it's all over. The occult-inspired global elite, aka the Illuminati, are all worshippers of Lucifer. And I'm telling you right now, it's also in the Christian church. And I'm not talking about just the buildings. I'm not talking about just the mega churches here. So, the occult-inspired global elite, aka the Illuminati, are all worshippers of Lucifer. They believe in a Luciferian philosophy, which teaches that Adam and Eve were in bondage in the Garden of Eden under God's laws. But the devil set them free by convincing them to eat of the forbidden fruit, thus opening their eyes of enlightenment and making them as gods to choose for themselves between good and evil. That's why the world is so messed up today. That is because men have chosen to do evil and blame God for the consequences of sin and evil. These Luciferian religions teach that such intellect is a gift from Satan and that man ultimately will become as gods. Through occult enlightenment, it is because of these demonic doctrines that Yahweh is arrogantly challenged by the architects of the New World Order. Now, I'm going to show you a list, or I'm going to read you a list of CFR members. Okay. Yeah, David Rockefeller, Paul Volcker, President of the United States of America, CFR, Dick Thornburg, CFR, Anthony Lake, CFR, Albert Gore Jr., CFR, Warren Christopher. This is the older, I'm sure it's well updated, but Warren Christopher, Lee Aspen, CFR, Colin Powell, CFR, James Woolley, CFR, Lloyd Benson, former CFR, Bilderberg, Bruce Babbitt, CFR, Henry Cisneros, CFR, and so on and so on and so on. It goes on and on and on. You know, your beloved Mitt Romney. Oh yeah, he's involved. So, now, the Illuminati, they openly praise the devil through the music industry and television. Young budding singers, comedians, and actors are told what to do if they want to make it big. That's why Willie Nelson is told to sing a homosexual song or fade away. This is why the Satanists controlling the music industry had Johnny Cash singing Satanist Glenn Danzig's song 13. Okay, I'll take you that for a minute here. And the album cover, here, I'll send you the link so you can see it, but it's pretty grotesque. Satan's Child, 666. The album cover to the left is Glenn Danzig's. Please notice it says Danzig, Satan's Child, and 666. The group Danzig, led by Glenn Danzig, is one of the most openly satanic bands in rock. Glenn Danzig, spewing his hatred for the Lord Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ, proudly designed a logo for the band. A demon strangling Yeshua with blood gushing from Jesus' eyes. One of Danzig's songs is Serpent Jesus, Snakes of Christ. On the inside of their album, Danzig 2. Lucifuge. Glenn Danzig is wearing the demonic upside-down cross, with the words of John 8:44 brazenly above him, "You are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father you will do." One of Danzig's other logos is a satanic pentagram. Now, these are all out in the open stuff, and if you can't see this, then you're blind beyond all belief, and it'll be pretty... Anyway, Johnny Cash, along with Amy Grant, in December of 1996, appeared on the Billy Graham Christmas special. Now, surely there is a tremendous difference between Christian Johnny Cash and Satanic Danzig, right? Johnny Cash's album, American Recordings, contains the songs 13, written by Glenn Danzig. Also, the song Unchained from Johnny Cash's album, Unchained, is written by Danzig. Both songs are written by Satanists. Why would Johnny Cash promote Satan? One of Danzig's logos is a picture of a demon strangling the Lord, Yeshua, while blood is coming out of Yeshua's bulging eyes. Okay? So, those are side notes. And Dolly Parton singing satanic Led Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven. The truth is as clear as a blue sky day to those who open their eyes, people. Satan controls every major industry today, as can be traced through members of the CFR. The movies you watch, well, guess what? Who controls it? You know who. Every last bit of it. Every last bit of it. I mean, you can't. I mean, you can't compromise on anything. Okay, you can't. I firmly believe that the Illuminati are planning something big for 2012, like a nuclear attack in America. That could be possible. You know, I mean, it very well could be. I mean, the powers that be are really using 2012 for significant means, and even though things have been pretty quiet. I mean, yeah, you have the uprising in the Middle East, but it seems like there's a unsettling calm. Okay. Because, I mean, last year, 2011 started off with a bang with all these dead birds and dead fish and dead animals. The disasters. But 2012 has started off also with dead birds and fish and stuff like that. But not to the extreme as it did last year. Now, however, there's weird weather patterns going on that's unnormal. That's not normal. Okay, so you got that going on. Now, I am not a Mayan believer. I'm not a 2012er. I'm just simply saying that the powers that be, I think, are going to use 2012 for a significant start date for a lot of things that the news won't tell you. Okay. Now, first of all, I'm going to interpret the Latin words on the seal. Annuit coeptus means announcing. That's this up here. Announcing the birth of, and Novus Ordo Seclorum means New World Order. So therefore, it says announcing the birth of the New World Order. The date in Roman numerals the date in Roman numerals is 1776. Okay, on the back of the $1 bill. Let's see if I can zoom this in so you can get a better look at it. Oh, yeah. Okay. Right there. That adds up to 1776. So, any of you patriots out there, keep that in mind. That this plan has been going on since then. And your forefathers and stuff had high disregards for the Bible. Okay? So, I got to keep that in mind. The year the modern Illuminati was formed, and also the year of American independence. The Latin E pluribus unum means one out of many, which is the foundation of the New World Order plan to unify the world's governments, religions, and money systems into one so the world can be controlled. The capstone has not come down on the pyramid. This means that the plan is not complete. Only when the New World Order is established upon all nations and the world leader is enthroned, the plan will be complete. On the obverse is an eagle whose dexter wing has 32 feathers. Okay. You can count them from here all the way up and you'll get 32. Both sides. The number of ordinary degrees in Scottish Rite Freemasonry, that's 32. The sinister wing has 33 feathers. The additional feather corresponding to the 33rd degree of the Scottish Rite conferred for outstanding Masonic service. That will be the very top one right here. The tail feathers, number 9, the number of degrees in the chapter, council, and commentary of the York Rite Freemasonry. Notice the stars above the eagle's head forms a hexagram, the most evil of all witchcraft symbols. The hexagram is also used on what? The Star of David. There's the 9 feathers. And that is Israel's flag. Don't compromise on anything. It means what it means. You can't take a symbol and say, oh, well, this is this. It's a holy... No, it's not. It is what it is. Just because it's on Israel's flag does not make it nice. Let's now go to Manly Palmer Hall, member of the Illuminati and 33rd degree Freemason, called the 20th century's greatest Masonic scholar and philosopher by the Supreme Council of the 33rd degree of Freemasonry's official monthly publication, the Scottish Rite Journal, in the obituaries section of August 1990. The Secret Teachings of All Ages. This book is called Manly P. Hall's Magnum Opus, an encyclopedic outline of Masonic, Hermetic, Kabbalistic, and Rosicrucian symbolical philosophy. Manly also instructs the reader to bring a human sacrifice to Lucifer each year. This is pure Satanism, folks. You can go and type in, you can Google, do Freemasons worship Lucifer /Satan, and you can get this quote. Manly P. Hall states, European mysticism was not dead at the time of the United States of America was founded. The hand of the mysteries controlled in the establishment of the new government for the signature of the mysteries may still be seen on the Great Seal of the United States of America. Careful analysis of the seal discloses a mass of occult and Masonic symbols, chief among them the so-called American Eagle. Now pay attention. The American Eagle upon the Great Seal is but a conventionalized phoenix. They're very big on that bird. Not only were many of the founders of the United States government Masons, but they received aid from a secret and august body existing in Europe which helped them to establish the country for a peculiar and particular purpose known only to the initiated few. It's Manly P. Hall, The Secret Teachings of All Ages, page XC and XCI. Now, if you remember, I read you the article about the Phoenix, and I told you what the Phoenix was, and how it is interesting that supposedly, allegedly, that this one world currency, they're going to want to call it the Phoenix. If you look at the mythological story, the Phoenix burns up, falls into the ashes, and is reborn. Okay? So, or is born out of the flames. And that's also kind of interesting because if you look throughout history, there's been many attempts for a one world order. Okay? And every attempt, possibly until now, has failed. Okay? Because it probably wasn't time for the beast to rise up yet. So, when you look at that mythological story of the Phoenix representing, New World Order, probably, again, has bursted into flames and out of ashes has kept on trying to rise up, and it'll keep on going down until a final time. That's just a theory that, I just came up with. I don't know how for sure it's going to work, but you have to keep that in mind. The European group he is talking about is the Illuminati. They claimed America to establish the New World Order. This is a peculiar and particular purpose known only to certain high-ranking Freemasons. Now, how did the Great Pyramid ended up on our U.S. dollar? The New World Order is an expression that has been used by Illuminized Freemasonry since the days of Weishaupt to signify the coming world government. It is necessary to establish a universal regime over the whole world, Weishaupt said. This is from Writings of the Illuminati, year 1780. During the first part of the 20th century, and up to the time the reverse of the seal was first used, a series of victories over the sovereignty of the United States had already been won. Illuminati agents committed to the one-world interests of the Rothschilds, Warburg, Rockefeller cartel had accomplished some important stepping stones to this New World Order. The Federal Reserve System in 1913, the League of Nations in 1920, Royal Institute of International Affairs, and Council on Foreign Relations, or CFR, in 1920, and the stock market crash of 1929. The consolidation of power was complete, and the reverse side of the seal, which remained largely unknown to the American people for more than 150 years, could now be placed. Now, basically, America has been used as, ever since the beginning. You got to remember, when people speak of the forefathers and say this country was a Christian nation, yes, but it was not a Christian nation. It was not a nation. You had guys like Charles Spurgeon, the pilgrims coming over here before it was a nation, and they had a love for God. They more likely held to the commandments of God. And then when the whole freedom of religion came in, there was a huge uproar about this. And so, if they're going to have, and basically you had the Roman Catholics come in, which the pilgrims came over here to get away from that, to their land of milk and honey, basically, okay, where they could learn and they could grow spiritually, prosperous spiritually, and just love God, worship Yahweh with all their mind, heart, soul, and strength, and love thy neighbor, biblically. And so what happened was this whole freedom of religion thing came in. And so here comes some Catholics, saying, oh, well, you know what? If you're going to include this freedom of religion, then you have to accept our religion. Early Christianity did not want that. Okay? They did not want it. They came out of that. Side note there. Okay. Hidden Faith of the Founding Fathers is a good documentary to watch, and also um, there's also a documentary. I forgot what it was called. I watched it, but if I find it, I'll let you guys know. The intervention by the Masonic Rosicrucian Illuminati. In 1934, Secretary of Agriculture, soon to be Vice President, 1940-44, and 32nd degree Freemason Henry Wallace submitted a proposal to the President to mint a coin depicting the seals obverse and reverse. President Franklin D. Roosevelt, also a 32nd degree Freemason, liked the idea but opted to instead place it on the dollar bill. According to Henry Wallace, in a letter dated February 6, 1951, the Latin phrase Novus Ordo Seclorum impressed me as meaning the New Deal of the ages. And here's the quote. Roosevelt, as he looked at the colored reproduction of the seal, was first struck with the representation of the all-seeing eye, a Masonic representation of great architect the universe. Kind of funny in the Matrix, the main guys is called the architect. Next, he was impressed with the idea that the foundation for the new order of the ages had been laid in 1776, May 1st, 1776, founding of the Illuminati, but would be completed only under the eye of the great architect, which is Lucifer. Roosevelt, like myself, was a 32nd degree Mason. He suggested that the seal be put on the dollar bill rather than a coin. End quote. Now, besides being a high-ranking Freemason and having the distinctions of introducing socialism into the American political system, Roosevelt was a member of a secret society called the Ancient Arabic Order of Nobles of the Mystic Shrine, or Shriners, attaining the grade of a Knight of Pythias. The Order of Nobles and Mystics claim to be an offshoot of the Illuminati. Freemasons, Walter Fleming and William Florence, founded an American branch in New York. 1872, memberships in the order was open only to Freemasons who had reached the 32nd degrees of the ancient and accepted Scottish Rite, or those who've attained the last degree of the York Rite, the 13th degree, Knights Templar. The Order of Nobles and Mystics have origins which date back to the 7th century, apparently founded by a descendant of Muhammad. Author Michael Howard describes the order's symbols. This is from the Occult Conspiracy, page 93. Quote, the symbol of the order is a crescent moon. Think of Islam. Also, made from the claws of a Bengal tiger, engraved with a pyramid. There's the crescent moon. There's the pyramid. There's the claws. An urn and a pentagram. The crescent is suspended from a scimitar, and in the order is a representation of the Universal Mother worshipped in ancient times as Isis, or Mary, for you Catholics out there. Or Catholicism, I'm sorry. I'm not talking about just any individual Catholics. From a scimitar, and in the order is a representation of the Universal Mother worshipped in ancient times as Isis. The horns of the crescent point downwards because it represents the setting moon of the old faith at the rising of the sun of the new religion of the Brotherhood of Humanity. Right there. According to Anton LaVey, founder of the Church of Satan, Roosevelt Shriners have a ritual similar to a satanic ritual called the ceremony of the stifling air, or better known as L'aer Epaeus. LaVey says that this rite was originally performed when entering the 6th degree of the Order of the Knights Templar. Remember that if the Masonic candidate chooses to follow the York Rite, after he completes the 13th degree called the Knight Templar, he can apply to become a Shriner. LaVey describes the Templars' ritual thus, quote, "The original Templars' rite of the 5th degree symbolically guided the candidate through the Devil's Pass and the mountains separating the east from the west, the Yazidi domain. At the fork of the trail, the candidate would make an important decision, either to retain his present identity or strike out on the left-hand path to Shambhala, where he might dwell in Satan's household, having rejected the foibles and hypocrisies of the everyday world." A striking parallel to this rite is enacted within the mosques of the ancient Arabic order of the Nobles of the Mystic Shrine, an order reserved for 32nd degree Masons. The nobles have gracefully removed themselves from any implications of heresy by referring to the place beyond the Devil's Pass as the domain where they might worship at the shrine of Islam. Once the celebrant has taken this degree, he embarks upon the left-hand path and chooses hell in place of heaven. And that's from Satanic Rituals Companion to the Satanic Bible, page 21. Well, yes, these three wise men, by placing the reverse of the Great Seal on the dollar bill, succeeded in announcing to the world that America is on the path and is the world's best hope for the spiritual occult evolution of the planet. Considering how deep into the occult both Roosevelt and Wallace were already, and Wallace's connections to Theosophy, they had to be of known that the most esteemed Theosophist of her time, Alice Bailey, had already declared that the Aquarian Age had begun in 1932. The whole symbology of the reverse is meant to be a mandala announcing this new age of Horus. They cannot help but see the significance of this, and given that their fellow Illuminists in the Federal Reserve had now taken control of America's currency, it was a shoo-in, folks. Now, the Masonic lies there is a cry in Freemasonry today that the eye in the pyramid is not a Masonic symbol, and it never was. At Masonic Info, there is a page which states the eye in the pyramid is not now, nor has it ever been, a Masonic symbol. The author says that he has looked for 3 years for use of this symbol in Freemasonry and has only found 2 examples. I have been inside about 4 Masonic lodges, and 2 of them, including the first I went to, use the eye in a pyramid, the first one very prominently, speaking of this individual. So I know this to be Masonic lies. On another Masonic page entitled The Eye in the Pyramid, we read, "The Great Seal of the United States is not a Masonic emblem, nor does it contain hidden Masonic symbols. Remember the quote above by one of Freemason's highly esteemed men stating it discloses a mass of occult and Masonic symbols. Who are we to believe Freemasonry's greatest scholar and philosopher, or some other man in Freemasonry with no such credentials?" Now, let's once and for all establish the eye in the pyramid as Masonic. The image below is taken from the New Age magazine, which was the official publication of the Supreme Council of the 33rd degree of Freemasonry, right here. The most powerful Masonic organization in the America, if not the world. It is now called the Scottish Rite Journal. It is from April 1960, and it clearly states that the $1 note is covered in Masonic symbols, and it also states pyramid with the Masonic all-seeing eye. Try to zoom this in for you. don't know if you can see it up there. But Masonic symbols in a $1 bill. 13 leaves on the olive branches. 13 bars and stripes on the shield. 13 feathers in the tail. 13 arrows. 13 letters in the E pluribus unum on the ribbon. 13 stars and a green crest above. 32 long feathers representing the 32 degrees in Masonry. 13 granite stones in the pyramid with the Masonic all-seeing eye completing it. On the front of the dollar bill is a seal of the United States made up of a key square and a scale of justice, as well as a compass, which of course is an important symbol in Masonry. So it basically explains it right there. And if you see right up there, you can see the Great Pyramid. Now, if all of this is not enough proof, then I will give you another image. Okay. This is taken from the headquarters of Freemasonry in Queensland, Australia, showing prominently the Masonic eye in the pyramid. Okay. And you can also see that in the top of this image right here, right in the middle. It's very faint. But here's the other picture. Okay, one more to firmly establish the eye in the pyramid as a Masonic symbol. You can see it right there. There's the eye, compass square, all that good stuff. Okay, now this is the Perseverance Lodge in Hong Kong. Again, there you go. There you see the sun, moon, father, son, child, or father, mother, child. However that works. I know it's somewhere along them lines. There you can see the stars, pentagram. It's all over the place. Okay. Now, favorite Illuminati symbol, the all-seeing eye, New World Order currency, the all-seeing eye on the dollar bill. To the left, or right here, is the Illuminati pyramid eye symbol and the words Annuit Coeptus, which I showed you previously, means our enterprise is now a success, or our enterprise is crowned with success. What enterprise are we talking about? Novus Ordo Seclorum, which can be translated as a new order of the ages. Or Annuus Coeptus means God has prospered. Now, again, what God are we talking about here? Which can be translated as a new order of the ages or a new world order. Hence the message means our new world order is now a success. The serpent promised Adam and Eve that their eyes would be opened if they ate of the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. The key word in this passage is eyes, which in Hebrew can be translated as knowledge. Open can be translated as broaden, so their knowledge would be broadened. What the serpent promised Adam and Eve was that knowledge would be broadened if they ate the forbidden fruit. But the most foreboding aspect of this scripture emerges from the fact that the Hebrew word for eyes is not plural, but singular. What the serpent actually told Adam and Eve was that their eye would be broadened by knowledge. The eye that Scripture wants us to consider is not the physical organ of sight, but the eye of the mind or the soul. This singular eye is called the third eye, or of clairvoyance in the Hindu religion, the eye of Osiris in Egypt, and the all-seeing eye. In Freemasonry, John Daniel Scarlet and the Beast, Volume 3, pages 6 through 7. The Roman numeral 1776 refers to the beginning of a secret society, the Bavarian Illuminati, known today as the Columbian faction of the Illuminati. This is why we see Columbia Space Shuttle, Columbia TV, Columbia Broadcasting System, CBS, otherwise known, Columbia University, Columbia Records, Columbia Movies. Our government is the District of Columbia. They print our money, make our laws, and control the government. They own the government, and they own you. They decide who dies and who lives, who to kill, and who to protect. The all-seeing eye is the elite's favorite symbol. It represents the third eye of Lucifer, seeing all, and is usually atop a pyramid, the symbol of a top-down command and control system of compartmentalization. Okay. Now, oops. All right. Now, who owns the Federal Reserve? I mean, look at this. I mean, it's clear as day. M-A-S-O-N. You connect the dots, you get a hexagram. Pyramid up, pyramid down. As above, so below. And again, that's also on your Star of David and Israel's flag. Okay. This is the front of the dollar bill. And this is the back. Now, if you notice, now this is probably something that no one has caught yet. Now notice the Bohemian Grove type priest with the skull face in the lower left and right hand corner. You ain't going to see it from this angle. I can even zoom it in and you're not going to really see much. Okay. But it's there. It's right around there. I can see it perfectly, but I want to see, but I just want to show you real quick on this angle. There it is right there. Now, the Bohemian Grove priest with the skull face in the lower left and right hand corners. If you notice, this is what you see. I'll zoom it in even more. There you go. There's the skull. There's the hood. Shoulders. Now, in this image, what I'm going to show you is, you notice the 13 stars in the seal, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Obviously, we know that this also forms a hexagram. Alright, now, I also want you to take note of this as well. Right here, there, there. This kind of forms the same thing. And now, show you another image to, well, you see that. Okay. Notice above that of the 13 stars, 6 outer stars surround the inner 7 stars. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And these are the 6 outer. Surround the inner 7 stars. Man's number is 6. Okay. Now, what this means is God's number, Yahweh's number, is 7. Perfection, completion. So this image basically signifies that men have elevated themselves over God, since the 6 are on the outside and the 7 is on the in. So man has ascended themselves above God. That's basically what it's saying. And also, it's also the symbolism of the 7 Sephiros, their tree of knowledge from the Jewish Kabbalah. All right. Moving further, there's another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And again, draw the lines, and that's what you get. So, many companies use the pyramid within their logos. James Walker, a 32nd degree Freemason, is kind enough to share some facts with us about the above symbols. "13 leaves in the olive branch, 13 bars and stripes in the shield, 13 arrows in the right claw on the back, 13 letters in the E pluribus unum on the ribbon, stars in the green crest above, long feathers on its right wing representing the 32nd degree in Freemasonry, 13 granite stones in the pyramid, the 13 layers, represents the 13 Illuminati bloodlines, 13 letters in Annuit Coeptus. This is called Masonic symbolism. It should also be noted that the eagle has 32 feathers right wing, but 33 in its left wing. The 32 feathers representing the number of ordinary degrees of the Scottish Rite, and the 33 feathers representing the 33 degrees of Freemasonry. The tail feathers, number 9, the number of degrees in the York Rite. The eagle itself is a prominent icon of Masonry, being used extensively in the Scottish Rite. Looking just above the eagle's head, you will see 13 pentagrams within a cloud. Okay, this is on the eagle. Okay, there's the cloud. The pentagrams are arranged in the shape of a hexagram, a greater seal of Solomon. The hexagram is a powerful tool used by pagans to invoke Satan. It is also the sign of Antichrist, with 6 points, 6 angles, and 6 planes. Now, Antichrist is plural, keep that in mind. To the sorcerer, the hexagram is a powerful tool to invoke Satan, and is a sign of Antichrist. 6 points, 6 angles, 6 planes. 666. The 5-pointed pentagrams multiplied by the 13 stars equals 65. The same Kabbalistic number is mentioned above. This makes one wonder with whom or what we are to dwell in unity. Speaking of the current state of Israel. The eagle replaced the phoenix in 1841 as the national bird. The phoenix has been a brotherhood symbol since ancient Egypt. The phoenix was adopted by the founding fathers, Freemasons, for use on the reverse of the first official seal of the United States, after a design proposed by Charles Thompson, the Secretary of the Continental Congress. Okay, so well, I'll take you to this one right here first. Alright, I'll zoom this in for you. Okay, to the right of George Washington's portrait on the front of the American dollar bill you will see the seal of the Department of Treasury, which is this right here. It comprises of a key, which is right here, the scales of justice, and a square, which is a very important symbol in Freemasonry. Alright. There you go. If you look at the square, you will see 13 holes in it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Okay. Gotta really look at it. It's kind of hard. See if I can zoom it in a little more. There you go. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. There are also 39 green dots which surround the square, key, and scale. These are all of these right here. Remember 39? 39 divided by 2 is 19 and a half. The number 19 and a half can be seen within the design of Sidonia, Mars, Avebury, England, and Washington, D.C. Okay. There is a small owl just to the left of the 1, which is, oops, and there's a nice picture for you. You can see it right there. Many of you probably know this already, but to those that don't, well, there it is, which appears on the upper right-hand corner of the dollar bill. From time to time, politicians like Bill Clinton and George W. Bush have been caught with a camera flushing the horned owl symbol with their hands. Right there, right there. Okay. Now the number of the beast, 666. Alright. I'm going to try to zoom this in. If I can, I don't think it can. Well, you should be able to see it. It's kind of hard to see, but bear with me. Alright, the letters on the base of the Illuminati pyramid stand for certain numbers. And all those numbers, when added up, equal 1776, the year the Illuminati was formed. All of these numbers here. Okay? Combining them all. More than one method exists for arriving at 1776. However, there's only one way to arrive at the following sequence. The Babylonian numbering system was used by the Masonic designers of the seal. That numbering system was not based on 10, but on 6. For example, 600 would be 1,000, 60 would be 100, and 6 would be 10. Okay, so you see 1,000, 600, 100, 60, and 10, 6. The occult is Trinitarian, i.e. its main teachings are grouped in threes. The number sequence 93 and 93, 93, or 600, 60, and 6 is a current of the new age of Aquarius. The water bearer, which heralds the end of the age of Pisces, the fishes, an early symbol of Christianity and the teachings of the Order of the Eastern Templars, or OTO. So you can clearly see that this right here is 1,000. Is 600. Now you look at the King James, it says 600, 3 score and 6. Okay, 3 score is 60. 1,000, 600. 100 is 3 score, and 10 is 6. That's the Babylonian numbering system, and that is what Masonry uses on the back of the dollar bill, and that is how they basically calculate the Roman numerals. Okay, so M 1000, D is 500, C is 100, L, and all of this adds up to 1776, by the way. Pretty sure you know where I'm getting at. If you want the truth, folks, Yahweh will reveal it to you. You have to not want the truth to remain ignorant in today's world, because the truth is all around us. Every US dollar shouts in our faces concerning the occult-driven New World Order. Yet the same men who deny any conspiracies carry, view, and spend US dollars with conspiracy symbols all over it. You know, it's what a striking paradox. Men who vehemently deny the government's involvement in orchestrating the 9/11 attacks fail to see the occult all-seeing eye at the Ground Zero Memorial mocking them. In your face, America. The elite criminals who are destroying America, bankrupting our economy, and stealing our liberties, put their mark right in our faces, in our wallets, and religions, including Christianity, in our cities, on television, TBN, think of that, on music albums, and everywhere we turn, to mock our stupidity. They're so obvious and yet completely hidden from view. This is the nature of secret societies. They literally laugh at their elite parties and high society gatherings at how obvious they make themselves in plain view. And yet people walk on by and go about life as usual without giving them a second thought. So, that's basically it for part 2 of this video series. And again, the playlist will be in this will be under the Know Your Enemy playlist. So till next time, guys, hopefully I can get part 3 up soon. Truth be told, truth be known. Stay safe. God bless. Bye bye.